Welcome back to Ready, Set, Geek. We are in Creative Control Part 2, where everybody will be assigned an accent, and all of them will be Leonardo DiCaprio's from The Blood Diamond. Yeah, deal with that.
Oh my god.
Say that my Pittsburgh accent was bad. Let's hear you do some. Yeah. So was South African. All right, so Anthony. Anthony, you're able to get yourself on the board, which means you will be able to. Yep.
Can we check the high-tech leaderboard to see what's going on?
I can't see from this angle.
Oh. Can you see now?
No.
The camera has to see it, Chris.
Okay.
Right now the score is...
Oh, God, super.
JR has 1 point. Anthony has 1 point. And Jelena is going to try to get a point this time.
Oh, man, you're good.
Well
Yeah.
worded.
All right. Anthony, you have control of the board. You're going to be able to pick the topic that everybody's going to be debating. And here they are. Welcome to Lee Trevino's Putting Challenge. Thinking outside the Xbox. And drinking the Kool-Aid. What are we going with?
Lee Trevino's putting challenge.
Welcome
Chris.
to Lee Trevino's Putting Challenge.
This is probably my favorite category name that you've had so far.
Oh, the Simpsons are great. Bone Storm! All right. Thrill Ho, you will be able to pick which video game named after a real person is the best. Got through that.
Are you looking for, sir? Are you looking for a specific game of a series, or is a series sufficient?
I will actually accept a series.
Tony
So,
Hawk's-
what is the best video game named after a real person?
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Oh, I get it now.
Okay.
All right.
Jelena.
The Legend of Zelda.
I love that dude. JR.
It's funny.
Tom Clancy Ghost Recon.
All right. Let's start Anthony.
Time clock.
Time clock.
Okay.
All right.
So the biggest part of my argument is that the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is not Madden. It is not an MLB game. It is not one of the other major sports. This is a game that took a big name from the X Games and from the skateboarding world and brought an entire clique into gaming. It let skaters and people who were into that sort of thing really get an actual... I mean, there were skateboarding games for NES and SNES and stuff beforehand, but they were god-awful. There was never a game in this genre that was ever this good. Because this was a game where you went into the park and they said, well, you can do all this stuff and these are your missions, but really, you just do you, bro. Do you really want to grind off that railing? Just go freaking do it. And we don't have to do the missions. Just do whatever you want. And this brings a whole genre of the X Games and whatnot to the forefront, allowing the creation of skate, of BMX, of a personal favorite of mine, BMX Triple X. Oh my god, it is not actually a personal favorite of mine. But regardless.
On that note, that's time.
We were along with you on the ride there, and then you ripped it away at the very end.
I hope no one watching this has ever seen that game. It was an atrocity.
Jelena, is Zelda a real person?
Zelda was named after F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife.
There it is.
Zelda.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
On that note, begin.
Oh, well, I chose Legend of Zelda because of F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife, Zelda. The creator had heard of her and thought it was a cool sounding name, and so we got Zelda. And if we remember the phrasing of the question, it's what's the best game named after a real person? And if anybody's going to try to tell me that either of these games is better than any Zelda game, I don't know how we're going to do that. You've got like an entire series to pick from. We were going to do Majora's Mask, the wonderful mechanic swapping of basically choosing a new character to solve puzzles, Ocarina of Time. Like, I could go on for a long time. We've got even Breath of the Wild with the ridiculous open world and
Dark Souls! Oh, jeez,
That was a weird
chest.
sneeze.
Well, actually, Anthony, it's not your turn to talk right now.
That was a talk?
It was. I will catch your shade and say it was kind of Dark Souls-esque, but it doesn't mean it wasn't a good game. And every other Zelda game fits the bill.
That's great.
Well played.
I hate
All
Dark
right,
Souls.
Tom
I hate
Clancy,
Dark
we go with
Souls.
Rainbow Six series, or how we...
He said, well, actually, Chris, he said Ghost Recon.
Oh, I missed that.
If you
Okay.
would pay attention,
I try not to.
it would be
The
better.
movie one is
That would be cool.
JR, it's your
Yes,
turn.
it is my turn. and I kind of want to yield my time and give because their arguments were so good. I mean, when you read some Tom Clancy films, bad shit happens, and you're like, "This is gonna be awesome," and you're expecting that in the video game. You're like, and so I'm listening to these two. I'm like, they've got some really good points. So
This is the part where you lie through your teeth.
Yeah, man, you're waxing your own asshole right now.
Oh yeah, that's about it. I'm learning right now. I mean, these are wonderful ideas.
Anthony, you going to continue this fight?
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
What are we on? 90 seconds?
We're on
We've
90
completely gone
seconds
off
for
the rails.
Anthony to tell me how Tony Hawk's better than Zelda.
So I think, personally, if we're both going to go with the series, I think the first Legend of Zelda game was excellent. I think the second one was a subpar side scroller, and I think every 3D one I've played has been god awful. I hate them. I can't get past the first dungeon in Ocarina of Time. I think it's a trash game. I think a terrible excuse for a puzzle is, where's the little thing in the room? Oh, I wonder where it is. 10 minutes later, oh, there it is. That isn't a puzzle. That's an extender of a game.
You know what? Luigi's Mansion is a damn good game.
Yeah, you're right, because there's actually
that.
gameplay. Oh, it's a 3D environment. Let's fight them. Oh, but I can lock on, it's a 2D environment now because I move with him. This game series brought an entire genre of people to video gaming that launched an entire genre of video gaming by itself. Didn't just copy itself over and over again.
You have 30 seconds.
I think I've made my point clear.
Can I just say, we're bringing some fire.
I know. I know. Anthony's just saying,
Speaking of fire.
I can't wait for you to post your Twitter names. Hey, there's that dick who doesn't like Ocarina of Time. You're a water temple of a person, man.
Oh, you
All
mean
right.
terrible drawn out? Never mind.
Let's hear it. Zelda, let's start having you take down, well,
can never be
not
on the show
Tom
again.
Clancy, because don't kick a man when he's down, but Tony Hawk.
Okay, so I understand that Anthony may have some personal gripes against the Zelda series, but saltiness isn't really an excuse to shoot down like one of the most iconic game series.
I think you just described all of geek culture as putting things down because you're salty.
Welcome to the show.
The point is, no matter how difficult you personally found Ocarina of Time,
It was a bad game.
It was one of the most celebrated games of its time. The puzzles were intuitive.
Anthony, it's her turn. That's enough of that.
Hey, we may not get the Apollo, but I'll hook shot you out of here.
Continue.
The stories were compelling and interesting, and as a child, like, it captured me as a child when I wasn't personally capable of beating the puzzles. I had to go back after I'd watched it run through a couple times. I had to go back and play it myself and have that enjoyment. Well, Tony Hawk, it did usher a new age of video games. It did bring a lot of people to the crowd, but widening the player base isn't the same thing as being the best. And I think that's really where the argument lands.
Okay.
Here's what I want to do, JR. I'm gonna allot you as much time as you want. Okay? Because you've taken your dog out of the race. Okay?
Yeah.
I want to hear your argument on what you think is the better argument right now.
Ooh.
Between the two of them.
Yes.
It's normally my job, Chris. I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, actually, push the button.
And you will
But he's
actually
not
be?
timed.
Oh, forget it.
Oh.
JR,
Yes.
let's hear what you have to say, sir.
Yeah, it's not even time. You have nothing to do right now.
I'm literally waiting to press the time button, and I got nothing.
All right, JR, I want to hear you back a horse here.
I don't like sports games, though Tony Hawk, it did bring a level of, it was different. You know, it wasn't just listen to a commentary, throw a ball, the same bullshit over and over again. You had some freedom. As far as Zelda goes, yes, it is legendary. It's,
Legend of Zelda.
it's got some puzzle things going on with it.
That's going to be on the tagline of the next box.
It's a
Legend of
Puzzle
Zelda.
things.
It's got some puzzle things going on with it.
And that's kind of where I left it. It was like, you tried it, and even though she said, she couldn't figure out the puzzle, she went back to it. It's like, I couldn't figure out the puzzles, so 5 years later I go back to it. I don't really have that much time to go back to play something. But you have this world with Tony Hawk that you can do things, and then there's a mission involved, which I think that was cool. It did bring something new to a lot of people. I didn't skateboard, but I had one.
Me too. Me too.
And so I would look
It
at it
was
and go,
1999. We all
Right.
had a
We all
skateboard.
had
Don't shake
skateboards.
your head.
that's what we did. We bought shit, and we just looked at it and go, one day I'm going to use that. And
Yeah.
then when the game comes out, I go, one day I'm going to use that again. But then I'm going to do tricks with it. But I didn't. I just did it on the video game. That was my puzzle. I went down to the basement, and I looked for the skateboard. I found it, and then said, "Hey, I'm going to." And Tony Hawk is a name that I became familiar with. Zelda was a name that I tried to forget. So that is how that goes.
All right.
Whew, that did not go the way that I thought it would.
So we had in that monologue that JR just flew from the cusp.
So glad that I'm not against him in this round.
Several puns.
'Cause that was awesome.
Legend and legendary. We had a callback joke. Callbacks are my favorite. And a really valid argument for Anthony's case.
So are
He
we
argued
giving
it better
JR
than
the
I
point?
did.
No, yeah. So
JR is the point.
no, what I think though.
They still have the closing argument.
I know.
too.
So in the closing arguments, and you can tell me it's your show. You can tell me if you want to do it or not.
I will.
So, Anthony, a lot has been made about the fact that it when we're talking about the game itself, you're talking about culture, and you're talking about people that haven't played video games in the past trying video games out for the first time. So let's hear something slightly different from that, from the culture aspect, and talk about the actual gameplay itself.
Okay.
And Juliana, I think that I said your name wrong.
Yeah.
Completely. We'll just cut this part out. So, Julina, I think that the thing that's really exciting is you have a couple of people who aren't into it, and I find that with Zelda, it's one of those series where people either die hard, incredibly love it, or people are just like, it's too complicated. And there's both of those tracks in the world of gaming, and so it would be interesting to hear from you, again, not just the cultural piece, but what makes Zelda and the series so special that you would, if somebody's watching this and always had the opinion of,
Yeah.
What
You have
would make
30
you wanna
seconds
do
to define the legacy of Zelda.
All right.
No, that's what I wanted her to do. I wanted her in 30 seconds to define the legacy of Zelda.
Okay.
I think that's what you were asking her to do. So
yeah, but if I'm watching this and I never played Zelda before, what's going to make me want to do it? All right.
Okay. All right,
My
Anthony, you go first.
Are you going to do freestyle tricks? Are you going to do it as Spider-Man? Are you going to do it as Tony Hawk? Are you going to race somebody? Are you going to race Spider-Man? You can do all of those things. You have an open world to
You
go
just
around
wanna
in
bring
the
up
skate
Andrew
park.
Garfield in every
Yeah,
aspect
you just
of
go
this
around
thing.
the skate park, you do the tricks you want, you do the missions. It gave you complete free reign to practice the tricks you do in real life or figure out new ones to try in real life and kill yourself trying to do them because you're not Tony Hawk. Yeah. Regardless, you also get to race, like I said. There's tons of different modes to choose. There was no slow start on the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series. It went in full board. Ocarina of Time is a terrible game.
All right. Look at it. He's throwing haymakers.
Yeah.
I got to get some below the belt. I got to hear. You're comparing Zelda and Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Compare Zelda and Tony Hawk.
Okay, so I think the first and most important distinction we need to make between Zelda and Tony Hawk is that Zelda's gameplay varies throughout decades, whereas Tony Hawk, you've got a skater game, and maybe the game gets a little bit more in tune as you play, but it's a skater game, and it remains a skater game. Zelda, you have so many different entry points. If you're new to the series and you're not somebody who's really into it, try Breath of the Wild. It's got these puzzles, but you can do as many puzzles as you want. You don't have to get through these ridiculous puzzles to win. You can You can play it more like a straight up action game if you prefer. If you want to go super hard mode, you can go fight the boss immediately and get your ass kicked. If you want to be a completionist, you can find millions of stupid little Corexes, stupid little nuts. It's
That's
more accessible than anything else.
Okay. Didn't expect this.
Yeah, this is a fun round.
This ended up being more interesting. Lee Trevino's putting challenge.
Yeah, this started it all.
You have selected driver. Your ball is in the parking lot. Go ahead.
I personally think this point should go to JR for making my argument.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
So, I mean,
It did become a little bit of a 2-on-1 there.
yeah, absolutely. But we have two of the, what I would say, the most iconic series of video games that have been around. I think that Julian's point at the end really sealed it for me, which is it's multiple different types of games over the course of the series, whereas, and this is the argument with any sports game, after a while it's just better graphics and slightly more stuff you could do. And also that's why Tony Hawk's series isn't as popular today as it was in the 90s and early 2000s. And so Zelda, though, continues to remain popular from the 80s on through to today. And that point at the end really sealed it for me.
Mm-hmm.
This is one that's really easy to pick, again, based on the merits of the answer. I thought Tony Hawk was debated very well.
And Juliana, you had a knockout punch.
Thanks, buddy.
Where
You called for a little
they're
bit.
still making Zelda movies. They're not
Movies.
making Tony
Games.
Hawk.
Well, actually,
Oh, sorry, games. Games. This is the gaming topic.
that's right.
Um,
That's why I was so excited to
Yeah.
talk about it.
but they're not making Tony Hawk games really anymore.
I don't have to make
And you
games.
did. You really talked about an untapped genre
Skate killed it.
that hadn't really been featured. And to introduce people to the sports franchise that weren't sports games. I mean, that's always been my thing. I love the Maddens. I love NCAA and the 2Ks. I'm a big
RIP.
sports guy. But I mean, Zelda really was like it's Zelda. It's a creative answer, and he kept hitting you and kept hitting you and kept hitting you. I agree with you. You won last round because of your closing arguments. You won this round because of your closing arguments. You were able to break down what this game is, for what type of gamer, so while yours fit into a genre, yours is gaming. And a hell of an answer. And a hell of an answer. I think everybody was sort of like on their heels a little bit with that. Anthony, I got to tell you though, you argued the hell out of that round.
Yeah.
And JR, and like helped you
Even more!
Seriously, I thought it was over. I really was surprised you didn't concede. I don't know how you've got magic groups to run and people to talk at in DC, and if they're going to be watching this, first thing you're going to hear for a while is, well, actually, you don't like.
I love the overhead Zelda games: Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, Zelda, Minish Cap, Link to the Past. The 3D ones, I mean, the new one I haven't played yet. It looks great. I hate Ocarina of Time.
Oh, see, I love that. I absolutely love that film. All right, so what we're going to have is we've got 1-on-1. Anthony, every time you're on this damn show, we go into a
Tiebreaker.
So we'll be right back. The quickening is going to be happening.
The quickening.
That's what we call it. Who will be the Highlander? Quick Scottish accents, everyone.
Oh, that's not a Scottish accent.
No, you got to be French and then do the Scottish accent.
So, cut it off.